Good afternoon. Welcome to our pre-camp leader meeting for our Scout PSA resident camps. I'm Chris Harold. I'm the director for our council, and I'm excited to be in that spot. I'm going to stand right here so everybody who's listening at home can hear as well. Our meeting today will cover two chunks, and before I get into the mechanics of it, I just wanted to share that how much I appreciate you and the work that you do to bring your scouts to camp each summer. And if this is your first summer, anybody? And if this is your 25th summer? Yeah, there's a couple, yeah. Either way, it's just so vital to what scouting is about. It's where the magic happens so much of it is at camp. And not that it doesn't happen all year long, it surely does, but then you get to apply it in a grand way, on a grand scale at camp. So thank you. Couldn't do it. I think, as far as I know, the only organization that just runs entirely under its own, that the kids come with their leaders to camp, is through scouting. There we go. Today, we have two chunks of, you get two meetings for the price of one. The first part of the meeting is more the things that apply to every camp throughout the council, and that's the part that I'm responsible for. Any of the kind of nuts and bolts of your medicals, your rosters, all these kind of fees, any of that kind of stuff will be right here. And then the second part will be the camp specific. So if we can keep our questions structured similarly, it would be a big help, because if you want to know what time the 12 o'clock horsemanship class is at Camp Alden, I can't tell you that, I don't know. But that would be very helpful to do the camp specific ones in the camp meetings, and then the ones for everybody in here. But we definitely want to make sure all your questions get answered. So in this section, these are the things that we'll be covering. Why do we do camp? Fees and refunds, you can read. And then materials. Any of the materials that I refer to today are available on the website. And even this meeting will be available on the website if you have other leaders who feel like it would be important that they see it or hear it, or a chunk of it is important that you share with them. It'll be on our website here, hopefully in the next few days. So CPC DSA well, you can see the website right there. and that's where you get most of it. And then any questions at all can go to 492.camping. That email address is good. There you'll also receive each camp's individual email address. Again, camp specific questions are best focused there. So one would be more for like fees and, well, the stuff we're talking about now. And the other would be more for what time is the 12 o'clock horsemanship class. I love the way we do camp in scouting. I love it. Partly because I came out of education about a year ago back to scouting, professional scouting. And what I noticed anew in scouting is how doggone age appropriate our programming is. It's adventure that's got variety throughout the many years of camp, yet it has the continuity of scouting's values, of leadership, of going through with your friends, of all these different things. Even if you pick up and leave town and move to a different town, you've got that common thread of scouting looks like scouting pretty much wherever you go, even including worldwide. There's certainly some differences and changes as the organization has grown and developed, but it's a continuity that is very conducive to child development. And that's incredible. So when a child goes to Camp Clark for their Webelos year, they're getting equipped for their next year. When they're going through the trail of first class in their first year at Scouts PSA camp, they're getting equipped for what comes next. And then when they get older, even if they get to the point where, oh, I've been there, I've done that, I've been to all of our 27 camps. We don't have 27, but I've been to all of our camps. I've been there, I've done that. They can still serve on staff. In fact, we are looking for staff members still. If you know of anybody who's 14 or older, there's a website that will pop up here in a moment. Well, it's the same. It's all on the same website. It's all. But I strongly encourage you to, if you've got youth who are sitting at home because they feel like they've been there, done that, then they're ready to teach everybody else when they're coming. They're ready to be on staff. So we plan year by year what all our camps do. We have also the unique blessing here of having 3 Scouts PSA camps, not to mention the 2 Cub resident camps, not to mention all the day camps that we've got. Very few councils have that kind of blessing. Not to mention the fact that they're all in different unique geographies and the natural beauty in each one. You don't find councils like that. And so we appreciate you utilizing them all, because as they get used, that continues to pay for them. And we get to keep those lovely gems that we've got scattered throughout Northwestern Oregon. When you go to camp, you get to see scouting in action too. Hopefully when your scouts arrive at camp, they're seeing what walks off the pages of the handbook in the staff. They're seeing role models. They're seeing people that they aspire to be. Because I've learned that they don't want to be you and I. They want to be staff members. They want to be the older teens. That's who they're aspiring to be. And hopefully we're giving them some really great role models to look up to when they come to camp. And we, parents, leaders, we get to have fun too when we're at camp. And if you're not, well, see somebody about that, because there's opportunity for that. Year round, your troop is working to develop all the same things, and everything that happens at camp reinforces what you're doing on a year-round basis. We're talking the same language when you show up at camp as you are in your troop meetings. Please stop me at any time if you have questions. I haven't got too nuts and bolts yet. It's coming. When you pay for summer camp, you're paying for the whole year of camp operation, really. That it covers the facility, the staffing, of course, the food, the maintenance of the facility, all these sorts of things. Now, other people contribute as well through donations and through other users of our camps, but the mainstay of the funding for our camps is that summer program. We've had some deadlines come and go already. May 1st, we had the free t-shirt deadline. If you got your fees paid in full, your youth fees paid in full by that May 1st, you received an email that said, here's how many free t-shirts you get. And it had a coupon code on there. You have until June 9th to go onto that website. And I think that website's coming up in a slide or two. Go to that website and to order those shirts, and they will show up at camp in a nice package for you, all prepackaged. No showing up at camp without having not done that, I think you lose the opportunity to get those shirts. So make sure if you've got those free shirts that you get them ordered and they're sitting there waiting for you. Let's see. The big deadline left to go is finishing any payments and getting paid in full before you leave town to head to camp. We want every scout who wants to go to camp to be at camp. If there's a last minute add-on, it is not going to be a problem. Just be very clear about that. But any of our books that we do at camp are more challenging than books we do back in town, because all the information in town is live and current and instant, and all the information at camp is even a few days old. So we ask that you have all your fees paid 2 weeks prior, and we put the little bit of a hammer in there that if they're not paid 2 weeks ahead of time, that you don't get after that 2 week window goes away, you don't get a refund on those. So if there's a last minute 2 week cancellation, there's not a refund available unless somebody's died, somebody's deathly ill, those sorts of things. Or somebody had we gotta pick up the family and move out of town and skedaddle. Yeah. Youth fees. Well, am I referring to youth and adult, Jim, on refunds, that youth and adult, or is it just youth? Youth? Thank you. Right. And if you do have to drop your numbers, sooner is better, for sure. If you have to drop your numbers, sooner is better, because we're planning. We've been planning since before camp ended last year, but we continue to plan for how many staff do we need, in what areas, for what purpose. So drop them now, and there you go. So we had an interesting conversation last night about class fees being paid ahead of time, but for this year, the way we have it set up is that if it's a horse-related fee, horse overnighters, that kind of thing, or if it's what was the second one that was available? Outbounds, yeah, if you're going on the windsurfing adventure or those sorts of things, then those fees can be paid ahead of time. The other ones are at camp. Yeah, so the question was what fees can be paid ahead of time and what must be paid at camp. And the ones that can be paid ahead of time are those horse fees and those outbound fees. And then any other fees like for classes or that sort of thing, those happen at. Most merit badge classes don't have a limit, but those things that do have a limit, I think the only thing that in the whole council that's first come, first serve is a horse overnighter. So, and that's who's paid first. There's that adult fees question that's up on the screen now. You can pay them before camp or at camp. Any fees that you paid ahead of time are just to your advantage. There's less hassle when you show up on the first day. If the process can be, is everybody here who you said was coming? Yes. Did you pay for all of them? Yes. Great. Have a great week. That's what we're striving for. The drive-through quick window of check-in is what we're hoping for. And it's okay if it's not all dialed in, but it's just easier for you and everybody if that's the case. But these are fully refundable. You can add right up until the time you show up at camp. And I would just encourage you, if you've got kids who are not coming to camp for any reason whatsoever, to continue to encourage them to come. Specifically because, well, let me put it differently. We want, if there's obstacles in a kid's life that is making them not able to come to camp, please start a dialogue with us. Even if they've applied for a campership and have been turned down, please start a dialogue. We want every kid to come to camp. We want that in a big way. So, and sometimes it's just a matter of understanding what are the circumstances. And if they hadn't applied for a campership yet, there are still camperships available, even if they've missed the deadline for that. When you come to camp, for every Scout BSA you bring, every 8 Scouts BSA you bring, you get 1 free adult, up to a total of 3 free adults possible with your troop. And if you have visitors, and we encourage visitors through the week, just make sure that please that they're paying for their guest meals in either the training post or office. So for refunds, if you just simply paid way too much money, we're happy to give you your money back. If you have said you're bringing 27 kids and you really bring 3, that's a different issue. We're planning on how many kids you've been telling us you're bringing, and I know some of it's a guess because you're saying, well, so many Webelos are going to cross over, but dial it in as quick and as early as you can about how many are coming, and you'll save yourself money and hassle. I mentioned the extreme circumstances down at the bottom of this slide. If there has been a death in the family or the illness of the scout, or the family moved out of the council at the last minute, that sort of thing, we can arrange a refund. More refund stuff. If the 2-week window is gone, and then when you show up at camp, that's when we'll do the refund paperwork. We give ourselves a wide window of refund checks being mailed out by October, which is long. We're trying to under-promise and over-deliver on that front, and we think we've found a way to do that. That's our hope. That said, there are, I don't remember how many hundreds, 800 some odd units between the Cub Packs and the Scouts BSA troops, all coming in with different arrangements and different kids, and the numbers going up and down all summer. So to sort it out and make sure we get it right, we give ourselves a wide berth. It's better to do it once and do it right. Those will go, any refunds would go to the camp committee, the troop committee chair. and they would get made out to the troop. We have had a few calls come into the office from individual families saying, well, my child's not going to camp, can you send me my money back? And we can't. We need to send it to the troop, not to the individual family. What I didn't mention about changing the numbers of who's coming to camp is that you can do that in Tentaroo online, or you can do it by sending us an email, or you can do it by calling the office. Any of those three ways. We'll make the change. The camp rosters are important for a multitude of reasons. It's when the fire comes over the hill, we want to know who we need to have accounted for sure. It's an emergency procedure at least. In addition, the state of Oregon says you must do it. And our Boy Scout national standards say we must do it. So it's just mostly a matter of knowing who is there, who do we need to account for. Tentaroo is our process for creating them, and that's for Scouts BSA camp. When you log into your your Tentaroo account, that's where you get the option to create your roster. Your most recent, I think it's within the last month, that your membership, your troops membership, has been downloaded from the national website to Tentaroo. So it should be up to date as of about a month ago of everybody who is registered with your troop. I think there's provision for adding new scouts in there as well. And there is a tutorial of how to create a roster on the website as well. So you complete your roster ahead of time. That gets you into signing up for classes and all those sorts of things, because you have to be on the Tentaroo roster to sign up for classes, at least before you come to camp. We do have a paper roster available. That's the roster of last resort. Nothing at all worked. And we showed up at camp and, oh my gosh, we missed that step. So paper is the roster of last resort. We're taking care of those online. And the website to go to for the tutorials is right there. We've talked some about merit badge signups already, but it helps the leaders and it helps the youth with planning. And we mentioned when you do your roster, it links you into that. And then it mentions the things, well, horse rides. That's why, not the merit badge class, but horse rides. And you'll have time at camp to do the purchasing of anything else. If there's a limit to the number of people that can sign up for a class, for example, in metalworking class at Camp Meriwether, which, by the way, we're doubling the forges that we've got there so we can expand the number of youth. If we have more youth who want to take that class than we have the ability to serve, we can take the list and then create a lottery from those who would like to be in the class and let you know early on so that they can make secondary, make backup plans. I think it gets to be, if they meet the age requirements, I think we need to let them all into the lottery. And then, but I do think, adult leaders play a key role in coaching their scouts in what should you be working on, how should you be spending your time, and parents as well. Yeah.
What about alternatives if you don't get in with the lottery? So if you sign up for a class that's in the lottery system, if you're not going to get in, then what's your alternative?
Oh, there's so many classes. So many.
I guess what I'm saying is the don't have lotteries, don't have limits. All right. So that would mean that when you sign up for that merit badge, or if you had the backup in mind, you can just show up with a blue card and you're ready to go. Anytime, any place, any merit badge.
I would say it mentions here at Sunday evening is when the lottery happens. If it's a Monday start week, of course, that's not the case. A Monday start week would be on Monday. And then most of our weeks do begin on Sunday though. So if you happen to be arriving on Monday and it's a Sunday start week, you'll want to make sure that you've got your lottery in ahead of time. You get yourself registered for those ahead of time. So also before you go to camp, some of us have special needs, whether it's mobility or food or different situations like that. There is a special needs form we definitely would like it in advance because some of them influence what campsite you need to be in. Some of them influence what food we need to order. That's important that we have that information well in advance. Sooner the better. So there's a special needs form. We have some copies. Each of the camp breakout meetings will have some copies, plus it's online camp resources page.
That's not proper.
The back of it, the back of the form, the back of the copies I printed, they don't have that, but the back of the form that's online shares some of the details about what type of things you might run into as a leader for special needs. And oh wait, I wasn't thinking of that as a special need. I should get that to somebody. One note about CPAP machines, make sure that they have battery ability of some form or fashion. They're not really cords long enough to reach our current bushes in most cases. But any kind of charging that needs to happen, we certainly have the facility for that to recharge them, recharging. Vehicles inside camp, we try to keep it a camp throughout the week and keep vehicles to an absolute minimum. And so, again, dietary needs, it's a very major kind of dietary need. Most common dietary needs we can handle easily. We have a cook in each of our camps who's got that specialty. We have menu items already pre-selected to help with most of those needs. Menus are already posted online for people to take a look at and see if that meets the needs. But we need to know that you need that so that we can make sure the food's on hand at a time. Those special needs forms go directly to the camp director. They can be emailed, and they could be left with the camp director. And that the last minute one, we pull the Cub Scout motto out for that one. We do our best, but most of our camps are far from town and difficult to get stuff to camp. So the advance notice matters. Campsite assignments, 3 days before you get to camp, the camp director gets the closest to final numbers that we've got. And when that happens, they develop their camps. Now they're already in the process of developing some basic campsite assignments. We actually had a half developed for our camp directors to use to do campsite assignments based on, like, this Adirondack holds 7 people, and this many girls are coming, and this many boys are coming, and this many leaders are coming, and this campsite holds this, and this campsite's next to that campsite, so a big two could camp next. So it takes all those things and mathematically runs the numbers like 30 times and spits out, here's the optimum campsite assignment. Everybody gets their needs met. And your campsite preferences go in there too. And you can run it 5 or 6 times to get the score to the best possible number. And we get most people most of what they want most of the time using that tool. And so again, with special needs forms, there's an urgency to those, because if you've got your campsite assignments ready to roll and somebody shows up, oh, I gotta have a campsite within 50 feet of the dining hall, that becomes an issue, right? Because now you're playing the game with the one empty square, and you gotta show everybody else around. So campsite assignments happen. I know Camp Meriwether may have some posted now. I know Missy's been working on those. And then we ask that everybody brings a few extra tents as well, just because it adds flexibility. Whether it's for storage or whether it's for sleeping, it adds flexibility to your stay there, having a few of those extra tents around. Medicine is a super fun part of camp. I get all the fun topics. If you're coming to a Scouts BSA camp and you're staying longer than 72 hours, so that's nearly everybody, you need a Part A, Part C of the BSA medical form. Not the youth soccer one, not the other one, but the BSA medical form. Signed by a physician, any kind of medicines on there, and so all the details, and that 72 hours, if, let's say you come the first 2 days and then you come the last 2 days, that's still 72 hours. So it's still, it's 72 hours within that time when you're, so if they come, so if it, just for those listening in online, let's say your medical says July 5th, you've received it. You must, that medical from last to the end of July of this year, unless your stay with us was overlapped into the next month. Please bring photocopies with you to camp. If your scout goes on an outbound trip, goes kayaking, on the whitewater rafting, they'll need to bring that spare copy with them. Yeah. Medical logging medication, does it include adults? Yes, it does. Forms are also available on our website, among other places that you can fill in mostly, and then the doctor's signature can come. So we do have some locked boxes. We ask that you secure those locked boxes to an immovable object so that the box is locked and it's not going to walk away. So a locked box can still walk away unless. Okay, one last thing on that, and I'll count at the end of the week, we swap you the medical forms and the patches and all that sort of thing. We trade you that for the medical log that you've been keeping throughout the week. So we are then required to turn in the medical log that you've been keeping all week of when the medicine was distributed to your thank you. Not vitamins, just prescriptions. It's probably a good idea to log the non-prescription stuff in case they would have some kind of a reaction or something of that sort. You should, as the leader, keep control of those things, and you should have been with a bunch of non-prescription medications. That should be something that you're aware of. Oh, what not to do? Please make sure. We've definitely seen the one on the left of the pill box many times. The pills need to show up in their original prescription container, saying what they are, who they belong to. That's pretty important information. Youth protection. We want to take care of our youth, of course. You're hearing that coming through all this policy and procedure stuff, that it is all with the aim of taking good care of our youth. Youth protection is just exactly the same sort of thing. If you are a registered adult leader, you must have completed youth protection training within 2 years. You can find out if yours is within 2 years now by logging on to myscouting.org. And it's best if you have completed it before camp, though we do have ways for you to complete it at camp as well. If it comes to that. Even adults who aren't registered, we strongly recommend have completed protection requirements. And if you're staying longer than that 72 hours, you have to be a registered adult. Yeah, and then, I mean, it's really a double-edged sword, isn't it, with the medications and logging them, that if sideways, we absolutely need to know what's happened so we can reconstruct it and provide help and assistance. And odds are nothing will go sideways, but when it does, and every summer, we need to know how to be helpful. And the confidentiality does matter, and those in camp responsible for any kind of medical pieces are well trained in making sure the confidentiality is kept. Note that
people are a little bit freaked out about
protection standards are maintained with separating shop houses by gender and age, the sleeping areas being separated by gender and age, and maintaining privacy. And so within 3 years, it's 2 years difference, right? So 2 years in less than 3. Yes, less than 3 years difference between youth who are staying in the same shelter. I mentioned that there's 2 adult leaders over time for your troop at camp. That's for all scouting activities, really, including your regular meetings. And there must be, if you have a female youth president, must be at least 1 registered adult leader, at least 21 years of age. I think the difference is that 2 leaders over 21. I think that's the change that's happened here recently. Okay, we mentioned this already, but if you're at camp more than 72 hours, you need to be registered as a leader. And as it has been for a long time, one-on-one contact between adult leaders and youth members is prohibited inside and outside of scouting, except for your own child. And some units do struggle to meet these requirements. First to understand, then to meet. But we will let our camp leadership know as soon as possible if you're in that boat struggling to meet that requirement. We have some ways to help you, but the trick of that is that if you have, let's say, 2 smaller units without sufficient adult, both of those units have to know and agree that they're going to be watching out for each other's youth. Every year, parents go on vacation while their child is in their summer camp vacation, and every year it seems like a child has to get sent home for whatever reason. It comes ill, injury, illness, whatever, or behavior, what the situation might be, and the parents can't be reached. They're in Hawaii and there's no backup. So if you have parents who are going to be out of town while you're at camp, please make sure they know they need to have backup coverage for their child if something goes sideways. That they can't just say, bye, see ya, you're in charge. Nothing bad's going to happen. Sometimes it does. The phone tree is nice to spread good news, and it's nice if anything happens at camp that needs to be spread quickly among the parents in your unit. So having a plan for that is a good emergency communication tool. And all the good stuff. Yeah, communicating that's a fun way to test it. Something really cool happened. You should know about it. Technology at camp is a challenge for sure. The cell phone coverage is very spotty, especially at Butte Creek, but you're not going to Butte Creek. If there's an emergency at home that the camp needs to know about, we ask that parents go through the scout office to contact, and we have after-hours service and all that sort of thing. We want to be able to pick up the pieces when the scout finds out that someone in their family passed or something, there's an emergency at home. We want to be able to support that child when that information comes through. Plus, we also have our internal emergency procedures of how to get that information communicated and support the troop when that information comes through. So it's important that parents who find themselves with an emergency at home contact the scout office. The internets are, and spotty is a nice word. We do recommend a vacation from technology during the week at camp because it takes a lot of time to do anything with technology at camp, and that's not what we're there for. Within like a half hour of most of our camps, coffee shops, internet cafes, things of that sort that we can point you towards in town if the leader in your troop needs to get some work done to get some decent internet speeds. And the business manager and camp directors, they can sure tell you about anything you need to know for that connectivity. We even have do we have a payphone at Butte Creek, or is it gone now? I don't know, not important. It's Butte Creek. Again, visitors are welcome. You got to sign in, sign out, and pay for your guest meals is the short version of that. Welcome and encouraged, I should say. If there's a large group of guests coming up to your troop during your stay at camp, please let the office know ahead of time, especially where it involves a significant increase in guest meals, so that we have enough food for everybody. We mentioned the t-shirts, I think, already with the coupon codes, and those need to be ordered by June 9th so they can be picked up all in a nice wrapper at the camp trading post. We want to encourage you to sign up for 2020 and start thinking about where you're camping in 2020. I know you haven't even been to camp yet in 2019, but we want you to experience that discounted pricing. We want to be able to predict what's happening with our camps. And frankly, we want to make sure we know that we can sustain all of our camps. Right now is your best choice of camp, and right now it is. And we have over 800 scouts planning on coming next summer already, right now. That planning is helpful. It gives you more time to plan and prepare as well. Okay, questions we've been going throughout, which is fine, and we're about ready for our breakouts. Is there anything I can help with before we break out? I'm sticking around to the end too, so we can visit after. If you paid for one adult fee, that can be split between 2 adults who are there for part of the week. Emails for each of the camps are on there. It's pretty easy. It's the name of the camp at bsa.camp, and that's the email for each and every one of our camps right now. And those are monitored regularly.
We'll introduce ourselves, and then I think we'll talk a quick minute. I'm gonna talk about paperwork for a few minutes, and then Nick will talk about program, and then we'll just open it up for questions. If anybody's got any questions. If you have questions on the chat room, I think you can just type in and we can see it. My name is Missy Hill, and I'm the camp director at Camp Meriwether this summer. Some information about myself. This is my second summer at Camp Meriwether, and this is actually my 27th summer working for our council in camping. So I'm excited. Yeah, Nick.
Hi, I'm the program director at Camp Meriwether. This will be my 8th summer at Meriwether and my 4th in this role.
Yeah.
That's
great. We'll make it quick and short. So I want to talk a little bit about arrival. When you arrive to Camp Meriwether, if you are coming by car, you will come to our parking lot on Sunday, on a Sunday start week. There's a lot of variables here, so I'm going to try and get through all the variables on arrival. Normal arrival, Sunday at noon is when we will open up to camp. The staff will come up and meet and greet everybody at noon, and then you'll be able to move into camp at noon. Before noon, if you want to come early, it's a great time to come in and eat your sack lunches in the parking lot. If you have your paperwork, we can do your health checks while you're there waiting for us in the parking lot. We'll also check you into camp before you can move into camp. So it's kind of nice if you come about 11-ish time to get all that done, so that at noon when the staff comes in to meet and greet everybody, you can just go and move into camp and have a few minutes to move in. If you are arriving by bus, you will not go to the parking lot, but you will actually go to the dining hall. And we will have a staff member there meet and greet you, do health checks as the kids are coming off the bus, and we'll have trailers there to help pull gear into campsites for you. Now, if you're arriving on a Monday morning, that's bright and early as 7 o'clock in the morning. If it's a Monday start week, you will go to the parking lot. If it is a Sunday start week, then you will go to the dining hall, which is where you will follow the signs that say to delivery signs. That'll take you up to where our main dining hall building is. If you are coming in on Saturday night, you will then again just go straight to the dining hall, and we will, and that we prefer that if you come after 6 p.m. and if you have buses and so forth, it's okay. They can make it up the hill and park at the dining hall, and we'll have trailers there to help gear get into sites. So I think I covered all the different arrival ways that we have. Yeah, okay, one more.
So Sunday arrival for a Monday start week.
It would be the same as coming in on a Saturday. So we ask that you come in after 6 p.m. on Sunday, and then we will meet you at the dining hall for that.
After 6.
Yeah.
Will we need to eat before, or will dinner be served that night?
We actually don't. Our first meal that we're going to provide will be a dinner on Sunday. Yes. Yeah. If you need help with cooking equipment and so forth, I will have a small tote that will have like a little pot and pan kit and just very minor stuff to help you with that for Sunday night and Monday morning. Yeah.
So, when we come in, we're going to be on set on Monday. Come down to the dining hall with the cars to take our stuff, so we don't have the truck in.
Are you a Monday arrival week?
Yeah.
Is it a Monday week?
No, it's Sunday.
It's a Sunday.
We're coming in on the week of the 4th of August.
Okay, so then.
We're coming in on Monday.
But it's a Sunday, it's a normal Sunday.
Right,
Week. So you would go ahead and just come onto the dining hall with your vehicles, and then we will give you a time to go ahead and move your gear into camp. So yeah, you'll be fine.
Okay.
Yeah. With that, talking about vehicles, we will give everybody a chance to move in on those times that we've just discussed to move in their gear. If you come in midweek, you need to be prepared to hike your gear in and out. We do have some open times of our road, and the rest of the time will be closed, just so that you know that. So campsite assignments, I know everybody and I am super excited about campsite assignments. It is a big puzzle that we get to put together. There are 4 campsites that I can say I just started on. Well, I started doing these campsite assignments, and there's 4 campsites that everybody wants. And so the way that I pick priority on these campsites is I look at your reservation number, whoever reserves first, and if they fit properly into that site, then they will probably get that site. So just so that you know that when I go down to do these, I have to prioritize somehow. So we prioritize by reservation number and also best fit for those sites. You will be receiving a letter from me that'll probably come out about 3 weeks before you arrive to camp. But in that letter, that'll tell you about a website that you can go to see your campsite assignments. That should be updated within the next week. So if you want to get on it, it is cpcbsa.org/campsite assignments with an S on the end. Right now it is still showing 2018, but we will have that updated within the next week or so. I would highly help us out and get your numbers in correctly. That changes a whole lot. Last year we had a group that was supposed to bring like 28, and then a week before camp they had a big crossover and they brought 20 more than they were expecting. So that throws everything off. Because I had a big group to begin with and then it just went really big. So help us out and try, if you change your numbers, do that as soon as you can, because then I have to go in and change campsite assignments. Yeah.
When you said you send a letter out, who does that go to?
Who has been getting your communications from the council office?
Like regarding the camp registration, it goes to that, like that email or is it?
Yeah, the council office will send it out for me. And they're probably going to send out your final payment with that email.
Okay, so if I'm getting those.
Then you'll get that. Yeah, yeah. So that letter should be attached to that. Yeah, the other thing that really helps me out is if you have any disability requests for campsites, if I can get those ASAP, that also takes a priority when we're doing campsite assignments. So you can either email that to me. I would greatly appreciate that. The sooner the better. Yeah, so then the other ones that we're going to see quite a bit on these special needs request form is dietary. Our cook is pretty strict that if you have a dietary need, you have to have a special needs request form in. She's also pretty strict on if you say that that's how you're eating, that's how you're going to eat for the week. So you can't say I'm vegetarian. Oh, but there's steak. I'd rather have steak. We don't do that. So if you're going to say you're vegetarian, then you're vegetarian. Not saying that we're going to have steak, but you never know. Yeah. So just so you know that. Any questions on any of that? I think it's pretty self-explanatory. Just please help us out a lot with numbers and disability needs so that we can get campsites assignments correct for everybody. Yeah.
For major special needs, is there going to be like cooler space accommodations for things where they can't necessarily eat the camp meals and have their own, or is it they're on their own coolers?
We would prefer to store any refrigerated foods if we can. So if somebody has a special diet that is, that is just way beyond what we can do and they need to bring their own foods, I've seen it before where parents have packaged it into, this is Monday lunch, dinner, breakfast, and it's super helpful.
Right.
And then we can store that in our kitchen for you. Yeah, we're not real keen into storing soda pop and things like that, but if it's real good food, yeah, make that clear, because otherwise our fridge is going to be full of everything. Yeah. So that's great. Yeah, I think that's pretty much what I have. Do you want to talk about program real quick?
Yeah.
Oh, yes.
Before you do, back to the food, I'm sorry.
Mm-hmm.
We've got some special needs people that are, I can't remember, it's octo, lacto, or something like that. Yeah, that they have to have a special diet, number one. And on the troop camp out night, we did a camp up at Piggott last year, and the food that they got was just utterly awful. So I need to find out on that Wednesday camp or troop cookout night. The other thing that we got up north was frozen beef and some vegetables and some hamburger buns. It's like, well, what are we supposed to do with this frozen meat? Is the meat or is the food going to be frozen when we get it? And should we talk to our special diet people and tell them to bring food with them?
Our food service manager is amazing, is what I gotta say, especially with the special needs. She has taken the non-dairy, the no dairy, the vegan, and gluten, and have kind of combined it into a big meal. So if there's something on the table that a non-dairy can eat, like a hamburger patty, they can eat a hamburger patty, please let them eat that. If we're serving ice cream, then that's probably not the best choice. They can come into the kitchen and grab something that they want to eat. So there's options for everybody. They just need to make sure that they're getting enough food and communicating that well with us.
Okay.
Our campsite meal is actually a chicken tortilla soup that you'll be cooking in a Dutch oven. And so for that, for a dairy-free person, they would just not put the cheese in it. So yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if a kid has something, they just have to go to the kitchen and say, listen, I can't have that.
So that special needs request form will let us know
Right.
to make sure that we have enough for everybody.
Okay.
And then when it is that time, then yes, they come into the kitchen. Yeah. And what's kind of the nice thing about our camp right now is that I have a child that's dairy-free. The person that is doing the cooking is vegan and gluten-free. And so we kind of communicate a lot with each other. And a lot of the vegan food is dairy-free. And that's kind of how you kind of round that. So yeah, it turns out well. Yeah.
Sorry.
No.
It's just, we ran into this last year and it was just a mess.
Yeah. We hope that it won't be a mess. I know that it won't be, and we'll make sure we get whatever we can to make sure that we're.
Yeah, our camp was fantastic until that night, and then just went boom.
Yeah. It's hard. Awesome. All right, program.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, I have a few things to talk about. So the first thing I want to talk about the new bits and pieces of coming to camp. We've added a bike track, so it's actually two parts. There's a pump track, which is a little bit more like a BMX area, and then there's also some trails for mountain bikes. So those have been added in. They're fresh, new. We also are adding a beachfront area this summer. And we have, you may have seen the ads out for them, land sails. So they're sort of like wind-powered carts used down on the beach. Big change as far as how this is going to affect your summer for the beachfront staff means that instead of having to sign out to go down to the beach and sign back in, we now have staff down there. They'll be just in the afternoons and the evenings, but they'll be down there available to help watch and monitor scouts that are on the beach. We're also expanding our metalworking area this summer. So at this point in time, the only merit badge that we have a lottery for at Meriwether is metalworking. We're looking to double the capacity in the forges. So hopefully, fingers crossed, can't promise anything. We're hoping that this will change that and we'll actually be able to just leave it an open merit badge like everything else. We've got to see what kind of draw we get first before I can really promise that, but it does mean we have more space available in the forges.
Question on the mountain bike?
Yes, sir.
Are those camp provided bikes?
Yes, so camp will be providing the bikes. I don't know the company or the name of the model of the bike, but we do have bikes, two different kinds actually. There's a mountain bike and a sort of a BMX type of bike.
Sure. I just want to make sure that
Yes. Actually, to clarify on that, please do not bring your own bike. So the rules about riding your bike in camp are still the same they've always been. Any bike riding will be done on the trails in the areas on our equipment under our supervision.
Are helmets provided as well?
Yes, we do have all the safety equipment, all the helmets, the bikes, all of that will be provided, yes. OB Rangers is an area we get a lot of questions about. So it does run the OBs program in the morning. That's our Trail to First Class program. So it runs from 9 to noon every day. It is for those first-year campers or the scouts that are trying to get their first-class requirements completed. It does complete 2 merit badges along the way. So they will get Scouting Heritage and First Aid, along with getting a lot of their first-class requirements taken care of. But that is that full 3-hour time block in the morning.
So Scouting Heritage and First Aid plus most of first class, through all that?
Yeah. Well, a lot of the first class requirements are going to overlap with a lot of that first aid requirement. So,
If you look in your leader guide, I have put in there what requirements we will cover. So,
And are they signing books, or is it that we have to then go through and find?
so we as a camp staff, it's our council's policy. We do not sign off on requirements for scouts. That is on the unit. It's your guys' responsibility. So we'll go through the requirements with them. We'll teach them. We'll instruct them. How you decide to test them afterwards and sign them off, that is going to be a unit thing. We will provide you with a copy of the material that's been covered and whether or not they satisfy the requirements in the class. If you choose to use that as proof to sign off, that's good and fine. But we cannot sign in the books.
But you are tracking what each individual scout
Yes.
is doing.
They are being tracked. They're going to have grid sheets just like every other merit badge class where we're tracking what they've been taught, what they've completed and tested on in front of the staff members. But as far as that crucial step of actually signing off on the rank advancement, we cannot do that.
Understand.
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Do they need the blue sheets for Scouting Heritage and First Aid?
Yeah, they will need to bring blue cards to all of their classes. That said, we have blue cards available for scouts that lose them or eat them.
don't make it from the yourself to program.
So,
Yeah.
we would request that they bring in their blue cards to the merit badge class on the first day. That's so that we can keep track of it all and make sure they get credit for what they complete. To take a moment and talk about grid sheets that I mentioned a moment ago, each class will be tracking the progress of scouts. I'm sure this isn't particularly groundbreaking to anybody here, but we will be checking off what they've been taught in class, what they completed in their attendance, and that'll be posted and available for you guys to keep updated and know what your scouts are up to throughout the week. General schedule for camp is broken down into 3 parts. There's the morning section. That's that 9 to noon chunk of time. That's going to be merit badge classes. Our areas are running merit badges, teaching classes, giving them a chance to learn what they need to do. For adult leaders, we're also running, we have an adult leader program. That'll be where you guys are doing IOLS. That's Introductory to Outdoor Leadership Skills Training, if you would like to complete and work on that. And a lot of other fun adult leader activities. Nap on safely, a practical exam, of course, and a few other activities as well. In the afternoons, there are a couple of merit badges being offered, but that's also our open program time. So if scouts want to go out and shoot or swim or go hang out on the beach and play on the sail carts, the afternoon is going to be the prime time to do that. And then in the evenings, that's also open program time, but a lot more camp-wide activities taking place as well. That's where our inter-troop campfire is going to be. You can actually find the full schedule in your program guide here, but if you check that out, it'll tell you what different activities taking on at what times. Any questions? Yes, sir.
I've got a couple scouts that wanted to sign up for Frontiersman, but when you go online to do the registration for the merit badges and such, there's no option for that.
Yeah. So the Frontiersman program is not a merit badge, and there's no merit badge associated with it, but it is a camp award and activity that you participate in. I can't quote the price on it because I'm not sure what that is, but it's a free time activity. They're going to do it on their own time during the open program segment of the day. It involves things like shooting targets, forging an object, and then it culminates Thursday evening at the rendezvous at Fort Clatsop, where they get the opportunity to spend the night in the fort. And then at the end of it, if they complete the award, we'll actually get a Frontiersman medal for completing it. As far as signing up and purchasing the Frontiersman Award, that's all stuff that can be done at camp. There's no limit or capacity for it. So if they haven't been able to sign up for it now, they will be able to do that at camp through the trading post.
Okay, but there is no way to do it online right now?
No, because it's
Okay.
not a merit badge.
You know
It's
how
just-
much it is, so we can.
I can check, or if Missy would like to take a look, but
It's got to be prepared.
yeah. So that is in the program guide.
Okay.
I think Missy's gonna look that up for us. Were there any other questions about program in general?
The bikes, maybe not. Bikes.
Yeah, you got it, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, sorry, fishing. Is fishing allowed?
So our lake doesn't have a large fish population. It doesn't have any natural inlets or outlets to it. So it has been stocked in the past. Fish don't tend to survive. So if you would like to cast a line, there are some places where you can do that. The chances of you catching anything are none to slim. So
Okay.
So the Frontiers Runs reward is $18.
And I should note on the Frontiers and Award, that's the only other way outside of the metalworking merit badge to get into the forge to work on a project.
Okay, so if they do the frontiers, would they don't take an afternoon merit badge then?
No, so it will require their free time to do it, so they should make sure they have some, they're not just loaded up with a bunch of really hard merit badges that require a lot of out-of-class work to make it very hard to complete it. But I'd say a scout that has reasonably 2 hours a day of free time will easily be able to complete the merit badge. Some of the requirements off the top of my head are lighting a fire with flint and steel, shooting targets on the black powder range. You do have to forge an object, sticking tomahawks. I think there's boulder or climb on the climbing tower, paddling a canoe, a couple of other Lewis and Clark themed activities in there as well. So a lot of that can be done pretty quickly if the scout's dedicated enough. The program is geared more towards older scouts that have already, gone through a lot of the merit badges and are looking for a more exciting activity. So it is geared towards them.
Right.
Is that accessible, like the list of requirements, is that available online? At the time when they have to get it back?
I don't have a copy of it with me now, but if you,
Activities outside of camp, are they under the high adventure thing here?
Which one are you talking specifically?
Well, I mean, because you talk about like crabbing and these other ones. You don't have any other, like in Baldwin, they went to the Deschutes River and stuff. You guys do any activities like that?
No. So in the past, we've offered outbound activities, but our location isn't very diverse for that. We can hike out to Cape Lookout, or we can hike out to the tide pools, which is basically hiking out to Cape Lookout. So it's a lot of walking on sand or maybe on a rock. We don't have the mountains that Pioneer does or the river like Baldwin. So we decided to mix that in favor of investing more in bikes and our beachfront program and those other things that we feel we can do a lot better.
We do have a kayaking one that is in the bay out of Garibaldi, but there's that one. The crabbing, that is not done through us. It's a company that has just said, hey, if you bring some scouts, I'll give them a discount. And so if you want to do that, you need to contact that company, and they basically give you the boats and the equipment, and you provide the boat driver and the scouts. So, yeah. So that's just us giving you the information so you can do that on your own. Yeah. And one more thing I just want to say about the sand sales or land sales. We haven't quite decided on the name. But the way we're going to do signups for that is Sunday, we'll open it up for scouts that are between the ages of 16 and 18. And then any spots that are left open on breakfast on Monday morning, they can finish signing up for 14 to 16. So it is going to be a 14 and older program. That is very dependent on tide and wind. If we don't have wind, you don't go anywhere. So just so that you know that it's we will try and offer an adult times throughout the week, like during the morning time. And again, that's depending on wind and tide. So,
I'm gonna see if we have boys that want to do that, we'll just email you their names.
no, we'll do it at camp.
Well, then if we're getting it on Monday, and you're signing up on Sunday night.
They will have that time on Monday morning to do that. If you've got that 16 to 18-year-olds, they'll be able to come in on that Monday morning and
If you're a Monday arriving, what's the chance of getting there for Sunday?
For the land sales,
Yeah, I'm sorry.
yeah, I think it should be fine, because we're also having it Monday morning, because it will not be offered until the afternoon. So, and, yeah. We have found.
Is it day by day, or is it like a?
There's gonna be an hour and a half block, Monday through Friday in the afternoons.
And my understanding, if I'm correct, is it's a different group going for each block.
Yeah.
So there will be multiple opportunities.
Okay, so
Yes.
Sunday night signs up for Monday, Monday signs up for Tuesday.
No, we'll have it all open, but you're only gonna sign up for an hour and a half block.
You only get one block.
One block, yeah, yeah.
Gotcha.
All right, any other great questions?
Okay, I'll go over one.
Okay, good.
Last year we had duty rosters at Piggott that I went through and I filled out for each of the boys before we went to camp. So when we got to camp, I just posted this duty roster and said, you guys are the waiters, you guys are the bathroom cleaners, you guys are this. Do you have a duty roster list of how many waiters I'm going to need to send for each meal and what duties you expect to have done every day?
We do not have a duty roster now.
Okay.
So that information is generally stuff we would pass out at the beginning of camp, our first adult leader meeting. It depends on the number of boys you have with you. So if you have a total of 20 people in your group, you're going to have 2 to 3 tables, 2 waiters per table. This is stuff that we've generally covered at the beginning of camp. If you would like more information about that, if you email us at the Camp Meriwether at bsa.camp.
Okay. Yeah, I like to have it so that it's already done. I don't have to say, oh, you should have put him here, you should put them there. You know, it's already done, it's listed out, they know what they're gonna do when they get there.
Were there any other questions?
I'm trying to go through these now that we can see them. Okay, if you're in the chat room, we just got the question box open. It had been hidden. So I think a bunch of these are from the beginning section.
Yeah, we began around 2.
Okay, so if a scout does not get selected in the lottery, what is the protocol for selecting other merit badge courses?
So at camp, we don't have merit badge signups. So outside of metalworking, that is the only course that a scout needs to sign up for ahead of time. It's the only one that has a lottery. Other than that, a scout just shows up to the class they want to be in and they're in. That said, we ask the scouts stick with the same class for the entire week. Otherwise, he comes home with 30 partial blue cards. And that's a lot of handwriting. So
You're saying only metalworking is the lottery one?
at Camp Meriwether, the only lottery class, the only class that needs to be signed up for ahead of time is metalworking.
Okay, because climbing also says it's lottery.
If it fills up, it's generally not an issue.
Okay.
It
So-
doesn't really fill up.
Yeah. Climbing hasn't filled up in 6 years, so
Okay.
there's space.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've got several boys that are worried about getting into that.
If it becomes an issue and we have 100 scouts that decide they want to sign up for climbing, we'll make arrangements to make sure that it goes through fine. But
Yeah. We've gotten enough staff there and can do enough rotations and things like that and other activities that we worked it out so that the lottery's almost non-existent. The other question that somebody else had was med logs and med lockers. And yes, we are going to provide you medication logs and we will provide you a lockbox in your campsite for medications.
Can I follow up with that? Will we get the med logs ahead of time, so perhaps we could, make like a check sheet so that it's easier?
You will not get it ahead of time, you'll get it at camp, the med logs.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we have to use that med log, we can't make our own?
Right, you have to use our med log.
Okay.
That's a state requirement.
That is
or
a state
that's why we're doing
requirement.
it that way.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough.
We've been super lucky that the state has given us a little lift on us taking medications, but their requirement for us to not hold medications is that we fill out this log and get it back by every week. So Wait, I just had another question, and now you're slipping right through them. Okay, if an adult is registered with a different unit, they do need to bring proof that they are indeed registered and have their YPT done. And they can do that on their scouting.org's site. So the age ranges, that is something that is, when you guys are setting up to put kids in scouts in Adirondacks, that's something that we're going to put back on you, because I don't know the age of every scout that's coming when I do campsite assignments. So that's something that you guys are going to need to monitor and make sure that that is being met.
Is there anything else that we need to know?
I don't know. I'm sure if you have any questions, I can help you.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll see you.
Should we bring tents for Meriwether too?
I would always recommend bringing tents just in case, just to be prepared. But in general, we try and make sure everyone fits into their camp assignments.
Again, once you see the assignments up, you'll know better. But when I do post the campsite assignments, it will tell you if you're in a mini deck site, which the mini decks hold 2 people, or if you're in an Adirondack site, and the Adirondack site will tell you, like this site has 7 Adirondacks with 6 bunks in each, so that you'll see that to help you assign who's going to be in what and where.
Is Auntie calling down there if there's been before summer?
Yes, they're gone.
Yeah, John went, he's like, man, I had doors and his heater though was broken for summer camp, for his outdoor school. But he's like,
The doors are staying.
okay.
We're going to keep those up.
The cushions and the heater.
Yeah, those are not going to be staying in the campsites.
Yeah, good to know.
Yeah, yeah. What was it, Wednesday? Attended other camps or Wednesdays was an off camp day. So no, Wednesday is not an off camp day. Somebody again is asking about the 2 years difference required in brothers. Siblings can be together. So families, a mom, dad, siblings, that rule does not apply. But if you are grandma, grandpa, aunt, uncle, then that is not considered a family unit. So
I have a question on that.
yeah.
It doesn't apply to us this year, but it may to someone else. If you are bringing your children and they're different genders, and it's the parents and the siblings, can you all be together as a family? Or is that not okay because the siblings are different gender?
I don't know.
See, that's why I thought I'd say something, because I know my 2 younger ones want to be together, and I told them they couldn't.
I don't think so. I think that boys and girls can't share the same tent.
Well, and I'm thinking about it in general. Do you want them to be perceived, even though if somebody does not know if they're sibling or not?
Yeah.
So perception might help here a little bit on this.
I just wanted to put it out there because I know that the kids had asked, so I'm like,
yeah.
Just in case this gets brought up by another,
We
with
told
another
them
parent.
no, because I'm like,
Yeah.
no.
But another parent may have the same question.
Yeah, no,
So
it's a
that's
very,
why I was like,
it's a very good, valid question, and I'm trying to think back in all the literature that I've been reading recently on national, and I don't think I read anything on that.
Last time I got it, said it was okay.
It was
but
okay.
I agree with the perception because
Yeah.
when you've got
even when I'm walking with my own son, I make him take a bite because I don't want somebody else to perceive me as being one-on-one with the scouts. So
Right.
Yeah, I think perception is probably the big thing on that. So, yeah, thank you for giving me something else to look up.
nothing else to do.
Yeah, that's right.
Your right grandsons can't be with their granddad?
No, the way I understand it is that parent responsibility is just given to the mom and the dad. If it's a grandparent that has custody, then that would work. But if they're not the custodial parent, then they can't stay in the same.
Okay.
Yeah, is how I understand it. Okay, so somebody has asked if they are bringing their sons to camp prior to the rest of the troop. We would prefer that a troop comes as a troop. And so that if you would like to do a family night before the troop comes, then we would prefer that maybe you stay in a campground or in the hotels around the area. But we prefer that troops check in as a troop, as a unit. Because then it's just not fair for everybody else. Oh, so this has come up a lot from our California groups, that they're asking that if to shoot firearms at our CPC camps, if there has to be a waiver, and there does not. I think that must be something that happens in California, that they have to sign a waiver to allow their scouts to do firearms, and we don't have that. The emergency contact phone number, somebody asked about that. That can be found on our council website, but that is the CPC main phone number line, which is 503-226-3423. I believe that they are so somebody asked if we have access to these webinars. They are being recorded and they will be put on the website from what I understand, but they're planning on posting them.
Yeah, the ones that are there are from last year, so wait till they get updated.
Yeah. If you have questions about Camp Meriwether and they're not in the leader guide and you just can't get an answer, please email me. And that's at that meriwether@bsa.camp. A totem ship, if somebody loses their totem ship during camp, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, we have totem ships and fireman ships available. Yeah. And we also offer the classes to teach those. The scouts need it.
Wouldn't that just be it? Really Rangers?
Yep. It's all through OB Rangers. Actually, the totem ship might be through, it's available. And not right there, then in the area right next to it.
Somebody's asking about understanding that for sandboarding would help us, most of our scouts. Could you explain sandboarding?
So sandboarding is an activity we run in the afternoons at camp. It is one of our outbound activities, forgot to mention earlier. So you'll sign up for that ahead of time. There are a limited number of spaces available, but generally everyone would like to take it, just had an opportunity to go through with it. We do ask that you provide some transportation for your scouts, because otherwise they have to walk up the road, and it can take quite a while, and it eats into their time to actually be hanging out on the dunes. So that's just outside of camp, probably 200 yards away from the turnoff from Highway 101 there. Or not Highway 101, the Sand Lake Road.
I think the question is, what is it?
So it's like snowboarding, but on sand.
Or surfboarding on sand.
Yeah.
Do you provide an instructor, or you just rent the trip?
Yeah, well, they'll be going out with our staff members.
It's almost like a skateboard without the deck and go down the.
Yeah, and you slide down the sand there, so you wax up the board a little bit, and then you slide right down. So it doesn't work during wet weather. The sand has to be dry, so it is a little weather dependent on that.
Is there an extra fee for that?
No, sandboarding is free. You just have to make sure you sign up and get it, though. That is the issue with it. If your troop, there are time slots available where we aren't running sandboarding, and it's available for you guys to check out that equipment if you would like to. But that is something that we have to organize on a case-by-case basis, because obviously we can't check out equipment at the same time that we would be running our outbound with it.
So somebody else asked about duty roster, so I've added that to my list so that maybe we can make that for you. So now that we know that there's a want and a need for that.
So our council's decided that link troops can be in the same campsite. Obviously separate sleeping arrangements, but you will be able to share the same campsite, assuming that everyone will fit there together, being the big barrier to that.
Do you guys have wandering scouts?
Rovers?
Yeah.
Yeah, so we do have a rover scout program. It was generally the last 2 weeks of camp, and that's for lone scouts that would like to come out to camp, but maybe their troop isn't going. I'm not sure what the logistics of signing up for that, but we do have a program available.
Okay, but you said it's only the last 2 weeks?
Yes.
Okay, because last year we had a rover assigned to us, and there were no adults, and he just went and did his thing, and we're like, well.
As far as having a scout assigned to your troop, I'm not sure about that. That might be, I think that's above the camp level.
The camp is who assigned it to us.
A lone scout?
Yeah.
Which camp was that with?
Picket.
Oh. Well, sorry, that's outside. That's not how we operate it. So our Rover Scout program is a troop that is organized of individual scouts that would like to go camping, and then as a camp we provide leadership and.
Good. Okay. Yeah, because he disappeared and we didn't know where he was 90% of the time.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. We might be getting some. I've noticed that we have some one adult, one boy that we're probably combining with other units. And usually that means that it's a dad taking, or a mom or dad taking a son or a daughter. And so if that's the case, it would be helpful to include them with you. But yeah, so you might see some of that. Yeah.
There's an adult there that knows where they're going to be.
Yeah.
Yeah. Where we were told, yeah, he's with you, and we're like, where?
Yeah, thanks. Somebody's asking about cooking fish that they caught in a lake. The eagles take our fish before you'll have a chance to.
That's why it's slow to none, right?
That's right.
Like I said, they don't last very long.
No,
So it's not a very large lake. The eagles do take dips.
Yeah, the eagles and the ospreys. Did you say there's a minimum age for sandboarding?
I don't believe we have a minimum age for sandboarding. It might be. Sorry, I'd have to double check with that one. If it is, it would be 13. No, there's no minimum age for sandboarding.
And sandboarding sign up at camp?
Sandboarding signups are at camp. Yeah, and that is done before the event. So there'll be a different sign up each day.
We're doing paddlecraft or the aquatic supervision?
Sorry.
Lifeguard certification.
I don't think we have a lifeguard supervision class. I don't think there's enough time in the week for a scout to go through lifeguard training.
Because I didn't know if you had it for an adult.
No, we have the aquatic supervision training.
Is that the one that's 2 days, Monday and Wednesday?
That is the 2 days. I think it's all morning long. But it's not lifeguard training. That's a different certification, allows you to supervise aquatic activities.
Okay, I thought at one point you guys did that.
Yeah, no, I think we're still offering that training, and then we also do paddlecraft and safe swim defense.
Okay, is that like last year when I was there, they offered an extended class where it was like a day or two you had to spend on the waterfront. Is that what I'm thinking?
Yeah, I think that's the aquatic supervision.
Okay.
So that is beyond safe swim defense or paddlecraft safety.
Right.
I don't know the specifics of it. If our business manager was here, if Aaron was here, he'd be able to tell you all about it. But I know that. Sorry.
I was typing.
He was asking if we offered lifeguard training, but what we do offer is aquatic
I'm not even
supervision.
remember what the term was.
Yeah.
I remember they did it last year, and so I was curious if they were doing it again this year.
Yeah, so that's like the first 3 days you'll be working on paddlecraft, and then the last 3 days you'll be working on swimming, or 2.5 days, yeah. Yeah. All right, hey, thank you all. If you need anything else, just let us know. I'm gonna continue answering questions by typing here on the chat session.
No. So merit badges are taught Monday through Friday at the same time every day.
Yeah, so for instance, if you're going to take wood carving at 9 a.m., you would go to wood carving on Monday at 9 a.m., Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday at 9 a.m. to do that class, and you'll be there for an hour. There are some classes that we do say, like fish and wildlife and mammal study. Those 2 merit badges are both being taught at 9 a.m. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Those classes we're able to combine 2 merit badges into to do them both at the same time. Okay, good. Thank you, Debbie. The OB Rangers, the 2 merit badges that they are going to be teaching, they will do that during the OB Rangers time. The ones that we do offer in the afternoon, those are set up for scouts that are not in the OB Rangers. So somebody is asking about the merit badge fees. You can look on our merit badge schedule in the leader guide, and it's got the fees posted on that. I can kind of show it to you if you can see that. And it will say the fees for an approximate cost. Some of the ones might change depending on how much the kits actually will cost from our vendors. But it'll give approximate costs on everything. Well, great. I'm not seeing anything else come up, so appreciate you guys, and we are way looking forward to camp, and we'll see you this summer. Thanks.